welcome back. It's Lost in My 40s Season 4 MidShow VideoPod. How's everybody doing?
Right.
Still waking up.
Christy forgot we were recording this morning, so she'd like you to know this is what she looks like when she rolls out of bed.
Right.
So...
You wear headphones all night?
Yeah, I do. You know, I have like white noise coming through.
I actually sleep that way with my earbuds in, and I listen to ASMR. All right, so here we are, mid-season, not exactly. We're one episode past that, but I wanted to have Meet Kevin Johnson as part of our mid-season discussion, so that's why we're between 8 and 9. I have a joke. Are you ready? Okay.
I think so.
What kind of boat does a potato drive? A freighter tot.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's not great.
Freighter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fine. So before we get into answering our question, our fan mail, I have a slight update. During episode 1 of season 4, I talked about all of our international listeners and how we love them so much. And we've had a little shift in those rankings. So I wanted to congratulate the Aussies from moving from 10th place to 9th place. They knocked France down a notch. I don't know if they're excited about that. Do the Aussies hate the French like the Brits do? I don't know. Write us, send us an email, Australia. Let us know how you feel about the Brits. And then in Mexico, they moved up to 7th place and put Ukraine down in 8th. So we're huge right now in Mexico and Australia, and I'm very excited about that.
Huge.
Exactly. Huge. All right, so next thing, Ben, could you update us on where our power rankings are after the first 8 episodes of season 4 while I flash their pretty faces on the screen?
Yeah.
right.
In third for last, we got the 2 doctors, Dr. Harper and Dr. Ray.
Oh, it's a double Dr. Bronze.
A double Dr. Bronze,
That's what that
exactly. We've got Miles holding at a steady negative 25 points in 2nd place. And we have Kimi running away with it with negative 74 points.
Good.
That's what we think of Kimi. I don't know how anyone could ever, I mean, nobody's going to argue with us about that. I don't think. All right. And on the top.
In 3rd place, the mayor of Islandtown, Hurley. In 2nd place, Juliet with 45 points. And in 1st place, you know him, you love him, you hate him, Ben Linus.
Oh, yeah.
Christy. This is what Christy looks like when she wakes up in the morning and then thinks about Ben Linus. All right, you guys. No episode this week. This is all you get. Our pretty faces. But next week, we start the second half of season 4 with The Shape of Things to Come. It's a Ben episode and it's a Derek episode. And we get to see Benjamin Linus off the island. Very exciting. All right, who's ready for our fan mail?
Let's hear it.
Just kidding. There's a question I have before that. I forgot my own outline. Before
Production value.
Before we answer, I do have a question, and I would like to know everyone's best and worst moments from the first half of this season. Like, what's impacted you thus far? How about Derek? What do you think?
Well, of course, the best moment so far in this season is the end of The Constant. You know, when Penny answers Desmond's call and he finds out that she's searching for him and they're in love and everything is good and happy.
Yes, it's hard not to choose that. I only chose a different one because I know that might be everyone else's favorite.
Yeah.
What about your
worst? I have 2 worst moments, a saddest and a lamest. The saddest is the episode 1, the beginning of the end, when Claire and everyone find out that Charlie is dead. That was very sad. Yeah. And the lamest was pretty much an egg town, the whole courtroom scene, especially Jack's testimony. Just wasn't a fan.
Okay. You don't like the lies, I guess.
No.
Okay. We did, however, enjoy Judge Decepticon. That was,
yes.
Good part of the episode, right? Christy, what about you?
there's so much that has happened this season.
I know. Isn't season 4 fucking great?
Yeah, it's funny how everybody talked about season 4 being like the worst. I think it's actually pretty great.
I think season 3 gets
3
more of
was
the
what I
hate.
read.
Yeah, season
Yeah,
4.
I think 3.
It's only because it was shortened because of the writer's strike that maybe it got some criticism. But to me, I don't feel like it seems as though they were like rushed through it.
I think they all should have been shorter seasons, to be honest. There are a lot of filler episodes. I feel like if they had less stuff and they were able to jam the real good stuff into fewer episodes, it probably would have been a stronger show on the whole.
Well, I think we're used to that format now with streaming. We're used to having like 8 to 10 really fucking great episodes without having to fill that whole like broadcast season. But anyways, Christy, how many did you pick?
I mean, there's just so much good at the beginning of the season. I mean, we get these flash forwards, we get the Constant, which is just the best episode of the entire series. I don't know. I love this season so much. It's so great.
Yeah.
I guess the worst stuff, I mean, probably Rocky Dennis. She's awful.
Oh, poor Charlotte. All right. Ben, what do you have for us?
Well, it's one of those things where my favorite moments are also some of my least favorite moments.
Okay.
Obviously, one of the best moments is just like Derek said, the end of the Constant with Desmond and Penny, sort of reconnecting. One of my other favorite scenes, even though it's probably would be a lot of people's least favorite scenes, was in I would think it was The Other Woman at the end where Ben walks
to his new house.
When Ben walks Juliet out to see her former lover dead. Basically says you're mine, and it's like, whoa. I love that scene. It's but it's also really awesome. And one of my other favorite scenes was just in the Meet Kevin Johnson, where Kevin Johnson meets Tom Friendly in the alley, and Tom Friendly sort of like starts laying shit out, like basically saying, you can't die. The island won't let you. You still have work to do. Like it sort of was like, whoa. And what's Tom Friendly doing there in the States? And so it sort of broadens everything, and it hints at a much bigger sort of global thing going on. So that's why I really dug that scene.
And
least favorites,
or is it the same? The Goodwin scene.
No, I would have to say probably least favorite would be, well, I mean, if we're talking about up to the end of 8, it's got to be when Carl and the French woman get killed, whatever her name is.
Yeah, I miss Danielle too. She's one of my favorites. Obviously, I think I mentioned that 100 times during the first few seasons. So yeah,
take or leave Carl, whatever. We can't go Carl anymore, but small price to pay.
Yeah, and the way I remember,
we'll do it anyway, I'm sure.
Well, hopefully we can do Walt still.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've been Carl before Carl was introduced to the show.
That's true.
That's true.
Yep.
I do remember, I think it was Christy's favorite scene in episode 8 was Danielle encouraging Alex before they were going to like run away. And they take you from that super touching scene when you're like, oh gosh, mother and daughter finally together. Look, she's taking care of her. Oops, fuck, she's dead. So,
dead. Yeah.
Right.
It was a pretty deflating end to that episode.
Yeah. They're good at doing that to you. Just like Derek is saying, his hardest scene was when they are finding out that Charlie's dying. And right before Hurley finds out, it's like when he does the cannonball and he's so happy. And then he's like, oops, Charlie's dead. They're really good at fucking with you like that. I love it.
Inflate the balloon and then
the
pop
highs
it.
and lows. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So my best and worst of the season. So I didn't pick the Denny and Pesnig.
What?
Penny and Desmond scene. Only because I knew it was going to come up anyways, but clearly, I mean, that's one of the greatest scenes in television history. But I have talked about several times about how there were certain moments along the way during my first watch of this show where it reinforced, like, yes, I'm watching the right show. When they open the hatch, when you find out Desmond's inside, basically when Jack says, like, you. And it's like, oh my God. And there's another one in season 4 for me. The flash forward was another one, but it's when Benjamin Linus says, I've got a man on the boat. And I'm like, God, they just keep getting me. They get me. There are these moments where I'm like, even if I might have been waning, which, you know, stranger in a strange land or something like that, but they pull me back in with these moments always. And that was one of them. I was like, oh, this fucking Ben, like how did he do that? And yeah, so that little moment is one of those grab them ones for me. Worst moment is kind of like Ben said, for me, it's a best and worst combo moment. I love Harold Perrineau. I think that he's fucking great. I love that they brought him back in Meet Kevin Johnson and we got that backstory. However, being someone who has been suicidal many times in their life and has come as close to Michael without actually like pulling a trigger or ramming a car, I know those moments right before you decide whether or not you're actually going to do it. And watching him go through that and watching him take that step and then having it backfire, I can almost... Or not fire, right? I can almost imagine the mind fuck that would be. And so that is hard for me to watch because I've been there. I'm imagining there are other people who watch Lost who had that same experience. So that is it for me. All right. Now for realsies, let's get to fan mail. This email wasn't so much a direct question as it was more a thought experiment. And it is again about Locke, as was our first email. So this came after they listened to our Theories and Questions episode after season 3. And the subject is Locke's motivations. So I'm going to read to you what they wrote. They also sent an excerpt from a scene from season 1 between Jack and Locke. We will not suffer you a dramatic reading of that. Unless Dave was here, then I'd make him take Jack because, you know. Anyways, I will just explain the scene in which he will, or she, I don't know the gender of the person emailing us, he, she, or they, were explaining is the scene in season 1 where Locke gets snatched by the smoke monster. He's being dragged through the jungle, almost into the hole. Jack goes to grab him and save him, and it sort of upsets upsets Locke because he wanted to get lost in the hole.
It was also sort of like Jack was delivering him. It was like his rebirth.
Sure. All right. So the email is as followed. Bear with me while I read to you. So just listen to your Theories and Questions episode and you guys discuss whether Locke is just a selfish bastard or not. It's basically a combination of what Ben and Lacey said, that he believes nobody is supposed to leave in combination with protecting the island, right or wrong. It's not just about Locke alone. Since so many people seem to miss this, I'm sending you the transcript of a key Locke and Jack conversation from season 1 after Locke was grabbed by the smoke monster. Too long to discuss on the pre-show. No, it's not. But I think it's important to understanding Locke's actions and aspects of the island itself through all 6 seasons and shows the writers had an idea where they wanted to go with certain themes and ideas. Also, note that Locke's chain of events comment can be related to episodes Deus Ex Machina, likely alluding to the vision he received of the drug plane and the island repeatedly taking away his legs at key points in the hike when he's finding Yemi's body. And then at the exact spot for him to spot the plane, making it so only Boone could climb up. Also, this episode starts with a flashback, Locke setting up the game Mousetrap, where you set up a chain of events to get your desired outcome. It led to Locke accidentally stopping Desmond from killing himself, which stops the hatch/island from being destroyed. More on that in season 6. They put in parentheses, Derek. And eventually, Desmond using the failsafe, ending the reliance on the button, which was basically a ticking time bomb. So that's the email itself. Like I said, I'm not going to read you the whole scene, but I will give you what I think is probably the most important quote from that conversation before we discuss that. And that is Locke saying, Boone was a sacrifice the island demanded. What happened to him at that plane was a part of a chain of events that led us here, that led us down a path that led you and me to this day, to right now. So, Ben, what do you think about this? Is it all about Locke? Or does Locke have a higher calling?
Oh, higher calling. No, he's a seeker. He's a searcher. I mean, this is the exact type of personality that gets, that goes whole hog into cults. It's almost an addiction type thing.
And they show him almost in a cult.
Basically,
they're just,
yeah.
But
exactly.
sort of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's somebody that wants there to be more meaning. And I think ultimately that's the difference between a lot of people. And some people look for meaning on the outside, some people look for meaning on the inside. Some people are nihilists. I just don't care at all. But I think that's it. I think he's just a seeker, and he's the type that when he drinks that Kool-Aid, he thinks everybody else has to. It's proven to him like a drug. When he gets on the island, it fixes him, right? It makes him, he can walk. So he thinks that same, whatever that magic is sacred, and therefore he's willing to sacrifice others in the name of the island, or let the island sacrifice them, whatever. One and the same, really.
So does that make him selfish or not, though?
I think it is. Yeah. I mean, it's yes. I think anybody that gets into that type of cult behavior or is addicted is ultimately going for self-gratification, and they're draping it in other things, but it's ultimately sort of the immutability of self-interest rules out. So yeah, I think he's ultimately selfish.
Okay. I think, I suppose I will have to agree that it's ultimately selfish from the outside perspective, but I think if you asked Locke, he would not agree that it was being selfish, because I don't think that he, at this point, at least in the show, he doesn't see or doesn't want to see a separation between he and the island, that they are one and the same. And whether or not it's the island is using him or he is part of it, or however that breaks down.
But that's the same as being in a cult.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well, that's why I said, that's why I'm saying, like, ultimately from the outside perspective, I'm going to find it hard to argue that he's not ultimately selfish. But there are some people that are selfish and they know they're selfish and they don't give a fuck. What I'm saying is that I think that Locke is different from that. Like, if you were using the mousetrap example, Locke is saying, okay, we have to follow these chain of events because we have to. He's on, there's like a path that is going to happen. I believe in fate or determinism or whatever. But when you get to the end, and for those of you who haven't played the game, I guess I should explain that anyone our age has probably played Mousetrap, but I don't know if it's still around. But you basically put together this contraption, and when you set it off, if it goes, the trap, and the contraption works, at the very end, there's a basket that like drops down on the other player, and you win. You caught them. You caught the mouse. So I am wondering if in Locke's brain, he is hoping that at the end of that trap, if he keeps helping all of the steps that are supposed to go, that like he's the net at the end, like it ends with him. And so for him, I don't think he would say he's being selfish necessarily. It's just that I am only helping the island have what the island wants. It's just in parentheses, the island wants me. Yay. So yeah. I wonder then what we would really see is whether or not he was truly selfish, is if he realizes that he's only a pawn in the island's cog as opposed to the point, then how would he act? Would he still do what the island wants, or would he turn on it and be selfish at that point?
Yeah.
I think that's when we could really know. But right now, I find it hard to argue that he's not selfish, but I find it hard to say that he absolutely is. Does that make sense? You want to argue with me now, Chris?
Yeah. Yeah. Because,
what do you think?
So I think that at the end of the last season, then maybe that was accurate. But now he still is feeling like, oh, it's me. You know, the island wants me, but it doesn't. Ben's just feeding into that. You know, Ben is making him think, oh, it's really about you. You know, I can't do this without you. If it wasn't for, you know, you have to be here because you're the only one who can go to the next level, you know? So I think that Ben is just feeding into that selfishness that is just a part of Locke's being.
Yeah.
And he's been doing that to him since he was Henry Gale.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Right. I mean, he's been kind of feeding him those little nuggets and making Locke feel like he's one of them, or
he's more important than he really is. You know,
and that's just Ben taking advantage. It's not true. Yeah. I mean, maybe Ben knows that he actually is important, or you think no way?
I think that Ben is using Locke as a means to an end.
Yeah, he sort of does that with everyone. Yeah.
I think I can actually encapsulate Locke in 2 sentences. One of which he uttered multiple times in the show. Don't tell me what I can't do, but please tell me what I should do.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's brilliant.
Wow, that's actually a really good point. Okay, Derek, what do you think about?
I think it's more selfish than not. I mean, he wants to stay on the island, obviously, because he can walk on it. And
can't blame him.
In real life, he really wasn't anything important. I mean, he was like, what, some kind of
middle management at a box company.
Yeah, so he was nothing, and he always wanted to be something important. You know, he wanted to, save his father. He wanted to, do all of this. And now on the island, he has the opportunity, whether he's manipulated or not, he'll take it. And,
he should give himself credit, though. I mean, corrugated cardboard is one of the unsung heroes of our infrastructure. So.
That's true. I mean, it's
everywhere. I can't,
like torches. Yeah.
I definitely can't get a package without cardboard. So it sort of works.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So ultimately selfish is what everybody thinks, except I'm on the fence there. All right. Well, I guess we'll see as the show goes on. Is Locke important? Is he a pawn? Stay tuned. You know what? That's pretty much it, guys. This is the MidShow. This is where we're at. We are having fun this season 4. Next week is a great episode. We've already recorded it, so I can say that. It is called The Shape of Things to Come, and it's a Benjamin Linus episode, and it's a Derek episode. Can Ben hang on to his power ranking lead? Stay tuned next week. We'll see. All right. Say bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
I knew you were going to fucking do that.